All right, buddies. Good morning. Can't hear you. Good morning. Okay. How are you guys? One second. Hi, online people. How are you? Okay. So, guys, let's begin our new batch for May and November 24th. That is direct access under the new syllabus. So, Institute finally has released the new syllabus. They have released the new syllabus, but one thing they have not done. They have not given the full material because from the information that I got, it is going to be paper. Sorry, so what do you say? The group 2 will be slightly tricky. That is your paper 4, paper 5, paper 6. So the group 1 they'll make it slightly easier apparently, and group 2 will be tricky with all practical case studies, etc. So that's why if you see as of today, they still haven't released. But of course, going forward they'll release. But ultimately, we already know what the syllabus is. Direct tax syllabus cannot change. That's the best part. Only thing is the way they ask questions and all will change, but the syllabus as such will remain the same. So guys, warm welcome to all of you. It's the first, what do you say, batch under the new syllabus. So I'm super excited to do this. First of all, paper 4. I'm just opening the prospectus of ICAI new syllabus. This is how it is. If you see the objective, to acquire the ability to analyze and interpret the provisions of direct tax laws and recommend optimal solutions to practical problems. That now only they have given clearly what type of questions they'll ask, right? They are going to ask only case study based questions where basically you are already working. They'll assume that you're already working and now you need to give practical solutions, optimal solutions to practical problems in an efficient manner. So the objective of the entire thing is very much clear, undoubtedly. And it says analyze and interpret the provisions of direct tax. Now, how can you analyze and interpret if you don't know how to read the Bare Act? So it all boils down to one thing, my dear friends, that is the Bare Act. So we need to start understanding and reading the Bare Act. So in case you have never touched Bare Act in your life also, it's okay. You guys have touched Bare Act in your life? Not done? No. Let's be honest, you know? No or yes? Companies Act, you? Never. Okay, no problem. So it's okay. That's why we are here to learn. So it's going to be 240 hours plus of 230 to 40 hours of classes whereby we are going to analyze and interpret the provisions. Gone are those days where some shortcut method, some summary book you study and you pass. It's not going to happen anymore. It is going to be very, very tricky and you have to read the Bare Act. It is very hard work, a few days. 10 classes will be like, what the hell is going on? Why did I join classes? All that feelings will come. But then after 10-15 classes, you'll get used to it because what we are doing is we are unlearning whatever we have learned in CA, this thing, what do you say, Inter. The entire process is unlearning. There's basically 3 steps which you already know. Control A, Shift, Delete. No, we all have understood this. Control A, Shift, delete everything that we have studied before and then learning afresh. Because that is what we need. So first of all, as you can see here very clearly, they have given analyze and interpret the provisions of direct tax laws. And second, to apply the provisions of direct tax laws and concepts, principles of international taxation also. So 100 marks paper, of course, it will have, generally 70-30 ratio. 30 marks will be international taxation, whereas 70 marks will be these provisions. So if you see comprehensive, what they have done is they have played around with the entire contents here. It says comprehensive computation of income tax liability of companies and other entities, which means you have everything. Comprehensive computation means what? Should I also know the heads of income? Obviously, yes. So all heads of income will come here. That is your income from, house property. Then salary, here and there it may not be there because it's part of Inter. But of course, house property, then PGBP, of course, profit and gains of business or profession, capital gains, other sources, everything will come here. Yes, then other entities and also under the alternative tax regimes under Income Tax Act as well. So there is alternate tax regimes which has come, all that we will see. General provisions and tax liability of other entities. Now other entities can be firm, LLP, AOP, BOI and all those things. Apart from that, trust is there. There's a separate subchapter they are given with respect to charitable and religious trust, political institutions, parties, business trust, etc. Then you have anti-avoidance provisions under the Act, we'll see, and provisions relating to challenges on digitalization. So everything has gone digital now. Faceless assessments have come. So regarding that also. Then of course your tax administration and appellate mechanism, the entire thing of TDS, TCS, advanced tax, full in-depth will be there. Then the income tax authorities, faceless assessments, assessment procedure, faceless appeals, everything. The full in-depth procedure will be there. And then of course you have the taxation of undisclosed income under the Income Tax Act and under the other laws, undisclosed foreign income and assets, all these things. And of course you have some miscellaneous provisions, and also earlier it was an audit, they have removed it and put it under this thing, tax audit. And of course we have international taxation. So basically, though it feels that it is all weirdly placed, the entire syllabus, but the objective is very clear, my dear friends. It very clearly says analyze and interpret the provisions of direct tax laws and recommend optimal solutions. So it's going to be completely a practical oriented paper. A lot of practical problems we'll be discussing, and we will be doing the needful. So coming to the material, just a sec. So coming to the material portion, what all we'll be discussing is very simple. So first guys, there will be module number 1. Module 1. So what does module 1 have? Module 1 has all the provisions which is in the colored format. So let me show you the module 1. There. So everything will be there. First we'll be starting off with the introduction and tax rates, of course. So this is module number 1. So this has all the provisions completely. This is of direct taxes. Then you have module number 2, which speaks about, which is a black and white thing. This is for international taxation. Right. And then of course, we have the Bear Act, which we'll be providing. You will be having the Bear Act with you now, right? So we will be analyzing everything from the Bear Act. Slowly we'll be studying. It will take some time for you to get adjusted. As I told you, it's not so easy, but it's fine. It will become very easy. Don't worry. And of course, we have the, Q&A book also, Q&A vault. That will be given to you as well, Q&A vault. And last but not the least, only for the regular batch, specific regular batch, I have designed something called as the workbook. So it is very important to do the, to have something to write down your charts. And as you know, rather than studying 10 times, it's better to write once. So you will understand everything. So this workbook will help you understand those things. So how does the workbook look? Let me just show you here. So this, all the topics, there will be a workbook like this, right? And then each and everything will be writing down. So it is just, headings and plain stuff. So you can, everything will be in one book itself. All the charts that we are going to write, all the things that we are going to solve in class, majority of the things will be here. Apart from the Q&A that we are solving, all some important problems which will give us the, taxability, how to compute stuff, all these things are given here. Whether it is taxable, not taxable, section 28, see like this. Company laws, income tax, Indian Contract Act, difference between, like that for everything. This will run almost around 300, it has almost 350 plus pages. So you will be filling up this book as well. So comprehensively, it will be like a running notes. It is really going to help you in the exam, one day before the exam, and also for revision purposes. So guys, with all these things, definitely will add a lot of value. That is module number 1, module number 2, Bear Act, Q&A, and workbook. 5 books together. If you study, it will be fine. So very simple way of studying. First, as and when we are going, you will be writing stuff in the workbook and analyzing with the Bear Act, and wherever possible we will also consult module number 1, right? The main thing is this, Bayrak and workbook. Workbook you can either write in the workbook, and those of you who don't have the workbook, of course, can write in a separate book. But then whoever has purchased the regular batch will anyway get the workbook, so it's fine. Then module number 1. Of course, module 1 and module 2, whenever needed, we'll see. And that's it. Q&A also we will be checking later. Few questions we'll be solving. Remaining questions you can do it on your own. This Q&A obviously will have questions as well as answers. So nothing to worry. So this is how it is going to be, guys. So as I told you, we'll have to unlearn whatever we have done earlier and learn it afresh. That is the ultimate thing. Unlearning and learning. And everything is through the Bayrak itself. So nothing else to worry about it. So it's all going to be through this entire mechanism. So coming to how the Bayrak is, what it is all about, let us just quickly go through. 1 second. Right. So before we go, I'll just show you the Bayrak. So guys, if you see, you guys can check your Bayrak also. I have a subscription to Taxman. So fine. How many sections are there? All that we'll see. Definitely, no doubt about it. But before that, guys, I mean, this is how the sections look generally. From section 1, 2, 3, like that, many sections are there. We'll come to the structure of the Income Tax Act in a bit. In a bit we will come. Before that, we will see other things. So if you check the workbook, right, you guys can start writing down now. First of all, I'm just sticking with the first chapter, that is Introduction and Tax Rates. Before we go anywhere else, guys, we need to first understand the history of income tax, obviously. So you guys need that light behind? Fine? Okay. So history of income tax is what we need to understand. So guys, have you watched this movie, Mangal Pandey? Amir Khan's one movie had come, Mangal Pandey. Right? It's an old movie. Lagan, you watched Lagan. So immediately after Lagan, like after 2-3 years after Lagan, he created this movie called Mangal Pandey. So that is the Sepoy Mutiny. That was the first ever time. You have the British East India Company was there, right? British East India Company ruled over so many countries and India also for so many years. But in 1857, based on this Sepoy Mutiny, generally what happened was Mangal Pandey along with other soldiers decided that enough is enough. Now is the time to push back these people, and they have come and we have allowed them to rule over us for so long. Now this has to end. So if you see, Mangal Pandey created this Sepoy Mutiny. So Mangal Pandey, it is like so many pages, sometimes doesn't respond. 1 second. So Mangal Pandey, way back in 1857. So we will be addressing using the roots from wherever it came. We'll have to study like that. So Mangal Pandey in the year 1857, my dear friends, he created this Sepoy Mutiny. So mutiny means they went against the Britishers and they're like, enough is enough. This was against the British East India Company. Now after that happened, East India Company stopped their operations in India and India directly went under the control of the Crown. Crown is which one? British Crown. That is the Queen, direct under the Queen's control. Till then they were ruling it through what? East India Company. But then after this happened, it went. And because the big company called British East India Company had to be thrown out, there were a lot of financial difficulties for the British. There were a lot of financial difficulties for the British. Financial difficulties were there. So when the money is slowly not coming because Indians are now saying that enough is enough, what to do? They have to come out with one more plan. See, they have been draining our country of resources from time to time. India was one of the richest countries in the world. People from, the Roman Empire and all used to come and buy our linen, buy our material, buy the, the Indians were expert in weaving also. So they were coming and buying all these things. But then these people also came and looted left, right, center. almost 50-60% of Buckingham Palace and 60% of England is built out of India's blood and sweat at the end of the day, and India's money at the end of the day. You know that. So the thing is, these financial difficulties were crazy, because of which, this is after the mutiny. Till then, nothing happened. They looted properly. But after the mutiny, Indians stopped giving all these things. They resisted at every step of the way. So because of the financial difficulties, in 1860, again, 3 years after the mutiny, this fellow's name you have to remember, guys, because of this fellow only you have to sit and die now. James Wilson. He was what? The guy who introduced the concept of income tax. Where? In India. He said, let's start this concept of income tax in India. James Wilson. We are studying paper 6, paper 4, 5, 6. Now it's become paper, which one? Paper 6 is also there, paper 4 is also there. So guys, I just want to tell you that also. In the new syllabus, paper number 4 is direct taxes. Then paper 6 also has direct taxes. What is paper 6? Multidisciplinary case studies. So this paper 6 has paper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus it has SCMP and law also. Everything is there. So though for the new syllabus people, these two you have to study as the self-paced online module, they have also brought it here as well. So you need to anyway study properly. So it's not going to be simply that some time pass you'll clear this exam and come and write this. So basically paper 4 and paper 6 both has DT, and this paper 6 has law also. So that is there. You cannot stop that. Anyway, so what I was trying to tell is we are studying paper 4 and part of paper 6 because of this boss. Which boss? James Wilson. Correct? Yeah, that is how it is. Income tax he actually introduced. But in 1865, because they were not able to implement it, suddenly there's this concept of income tax, etc. So they removed it in 1865. They were unable to do this, and this was introduced everywhere. All the colonies that the British had colonized, everywhere they introduced. But of course, in India predominantly it came. And since it did not happen, in 1867, they came out with the same thing, guys, but they renamed it as license tax. So if you want to do anything, license tax on trade, any trade if you had to do, you had to pay a tax that is called license tax. That was nothing was income tax only, based on the income that you are generating. All the artisans, all the merchants of India, etc. were paying this license tax on trade. Now after this license tax, that also was abolished, and in 1868, 1 year later, they renamed it as certificate tax. Like if you want to do any business, you have to prepare a certificate, and that was called certificate tax. You had to obtain a certificate, and that was called certificate tax. So if you see, it all started with the Sepoy mutiny. That's why Mangal Pandey's uprising or Sepoy mutiny is of utmost importance, because suddenly the oppressed became the, what do you say, not oppressor, but decided to say enough is enough. I am not going to take your nonsense anymore. I am going to retaliate. That's why now government, the Britishers didn't know what to do. That's why they came out with what? Tax. Let's introduce tax so that, whenever you do business, you'll have to pay tax, because I don't have money anymore. I cannot loot freely because you guys have already ensured that it's not going to happen. Cool. So Mangal Pandey, all these things happened. Certificate tax was introduced, and guys, in the year, the first time, 1869, is when the concept of income tax, there's again 1869 to 1874, concept of income tax was reintroduced. What came in 1960 again came 9 years later. Right? The Britishers were a confused soul, guys. They only didn't know what was happening. Again they removed, imagine, again they removed this. 2-3 years nothing was there. They were completely confused bunch. In 1877 again they introduced license tax. In our computer we do alt tab, no? Like that. Alt tab they had, one is license tax, certificate tax, income tax, alt tab they were doing, that's all. So this was 1877. Then in 1886, this was the year, Again, license tax was removed, and this time the legislature formally introduced what? Income tax. The legislature formally introduced the concept of income tax. So they said, this is how we'll have to do it. Let us introduce this. And from 1886 onwards, they went on, charging income tax everywhere. But it was predominantly on the income. But then they figured out in almost around 20, 30 years, they saw that you are deriving income from various sources. So some rich people in India, few rich people were there, they had their homes extra, like mansions, etc. They had to give it out on rent, so that income was coming. Some of them was working for the British Crown, they were getting salary. Some of them were purely into trading, so they were getting money from there. And they used to obviously deposit in these banks, get some interest, there was money from there as well. So government decided that rather than taxing everything under as income, it is better if you compartmentalize and divide it into various heads of income. So this happened after, let's say, around 30 years from 1886, where they decided that, let me make a different thing now. So in the year 1918, guys, 1918, this was the time when 6 heads of income was introduced. Whatever we are doing now, mother promise it will not come in the exam. I hope you know that. But the thing is, tomorrow if anybody asks you, do you know the history of income tax? We should say, yes, I have a fair idea. This will not ask, explain the history of income tax, 5 marks. No. In BCom also it will not come. So, as I told you, we are going for a holistic approach. Those of you who have studied from me in law will know exactly how we go by each and every section. It is going to be like that. It is going to be a lot of hard work, but the thing is, at the end of the day, I have many of my students. Just yesterday I was talking to one guy. He was like, sir, nowadays in interviews, people are asking that only. They're giving you the bare act. And they're telling, come on, whatever you know about income tax act, you tell. So he just got, since our results came, and he got into one of the big fours, a package of 13 lakh, 14 lakh per annum. Excellent. He's 22-year-old CA. Right? Excellent package, 14 lakhs. So apparently it went on to the partner stage also, the interview. Partner gave the bare act and said, tell me bro, whatever you know about income tax, you tell. So, and company law also same thing. Whatever you know about company law, you tell. This question was about loans to directors, correct? So loans to directors, he asked a question, what are the implications under Companies Act? What are the implications under Income Tax Act? Take. He gave the bare act. So under income tax in the Companies Act, it is section 186, loans to 185. Loans to companies is 186, 185 is loans to directors. So he had to explain 185. Then he said, what is the implication if it's a private company in income tax? In income tax, there is a concept called 222E, deemed dividend. So he knew it, but he's like, I don't want you to mug up and tell me. I am giving you the bare act, you please read and tell me. So it went to the partner level. Generally, the package starts at 8 to 9 lakhs, freshers. But this fellow got 12 lakhs, so for a 14 lakhs package because he was able to answer these questions. So once you clear, all that matters is how are you able to read from the bare act. And he was telling me, sir, work has started, and my manager comes and asks me questions now. Manager says, hey, what is this rate? What is this rate? Because this fellow remembers stuff. So he has become like a go-to man for even the manager. His own manager will come and say, this TDS rate is 75,000 or on 1 lakh. He said, no sir, it's on 1 lakh. When did it change? Managers also are not very aware because they are obviously working on so many things, guys. So the thing is, ultimately it is the bare act. So he was just doing one of the cases, and yesterday only he was speaking to me. He told that, sir, there was this company had purchased one vehicle. So they were talking about other TDS requirements, etc. Because they were doing a lot of contract work, so 194C and all we were checking. But I just told them, sir, it's motor vehicle, right? So even TCS will come. Other fellow, the boss was like, when did TCS come? When is it coming? He said, no, sir, go to 206C 1H. That fellow was full shocked, manager. He went to 206C 1H. In 1H, it's not there. He's like, hey, what some nonsense sections you're telling? No, sir, sorry. Maybe I got confused. C2060, 1F. So one section he just turned aside, it was there. So the manager was impressed. Imagine a young guy, 22-year-old kid, now is, getting 14 lakhs, and the manager who's some 30, 35 is coming to him and asking these questions. Manager also is not aware of TCS provisions, and he applied. So that is what actually I'm trying to tell, guys. This entire dialogue, no, our institute which has told in the syllabus that you have to apply. That is what it is at the end of the day. They want you to analyze and interpret the provisions and recommend optimal solutions. That company had not done TCS, had not paid, had paid TCS, but these fellows did not know. Because in TCS, who will collect? Seller will collect. That the seller of the truck had collected something, these fellows had not figured it out. It was not accounted for properly. So, because of this guy who randomly told some section number, but then he made a mistake in section number, but it's okay. He again figured out, oh, it's not H, it's F. And its mistakes will happen, but see, he's already earned the respect of the manager. That's what matters. You have to earn the respect of the manager or anybody for that matter. So there's a difference between demand respect and earning respect. No, demanding respect, hey, respect, get up, stand up, say good morning. No, that is demanding respect. Commanding respect is what? Actually earning respect. So if we study the law the way it has to be, you will definitely earn respect. So many people used to question my methodology many years ago. Why is this fellow doing so much in-depth, not needed? But now it is, after 2 years only people understood the importance of this methodology. And today I get so many messages saying that I'm already a CA, sir, but now I understand why you did so much in-depth, because I'm very comfortable in my work. So that is the reason why. And now thankfully Institute also is going to support my methodology with paper 4, 5, 6. It is going to be amazing. The question papers are going to be crazy. Nowadays only you are seeing the way questions are coming. It is not easy anymore, but it is going to be tougher by the day. So we need to study the right way. Having said that, they will still not ask all these questions that we are doing. 100% they will not ask. In the workbook, whatever we are solving, 100% they will not ask Ministry of Income Tax. But we need to have, we are doing from the source, so it will take some time. That is why we have allotted 240 hours for this. A full in-depth exhaustive analysis of the Income Tax Act is what we are obviously doing. So guys, 6 sets of income was, created. And after this, I'll have no space, I'll write it here, it's okay. So after this, what happened? They started something called as the All India Income Tax Committee. All India Income Tax Committee was formed. All India Income Tax Committee. And because of that committee, the Income Tax Act of 1922 was passed. Income Tax Act of 1922. Imagine it first came in Income Tax Act when? 1922. Long time ago. So guys, this was predominantly what? Under the British Raj. So 1922, it was a British Raj. But then, the thing is, in 1947, what did we get? Independence. There were many provisions in the Income Tax Act of 1922 which always directly benefited the British as usual. It was never benefiting the government of India, because government of India was not there only, and it was always supporting the British. Because they allowed the repatriation of funds back to British, all that was there. Now, there had to be huge changes in this Income Tax Act 1922. Is it better to change the sections, or is it better to change the law itself? Change the law. So, there were 2 committees, just for your knowledge. One is the Law Commission. There was a Law Commission. They created their 12th report. This was in the year 1958. Law Commission's 12th report. And you have the Direct Tax Admin's Enquiry Committee. Direct Tax Administrative Enquiry Committee in 1959. These committees clearly analyzed what were the loopholes in this Income Tax Act and what had to be changed, etc. So based on this only, the Income Tax Act was framed, guys. I'll write here. Finally, the Income Tax Act of 1961 was formed. So guys, when a law is formed, When will it come into effect, by the way? When will a law come into effect? Is it always on 1st of April or when? So when will a law come into effect? So guys, basically the law will come into effect. So this, I'll just show you the 2013 law. This Companies Act. Law will come into effect whether when the president says yes. So generally how it happens, it will be part of a standing committee who will do everything. Before that there will be a draft which will be circulated to everyone. You know how this law is passed, and then it will go to the standing committee who will do the deliberations. Then it will be passed in the Lok Sabha. Then again it will go to the Rajya Sabha standing committee who will verify everything and give questions back, etc. And then it will be passed by the Rajya Sabha, and then president, he will give his assent or dissent. Generally he will say yes only, but president also will have his own people, to experts who will check whether anything has to be changed, not to be changed, all those things. After the presidential assent, what happens? It will be notified in something called as the official gazette. This is the Gazette of India. All official notification has to be published where? In the official gazette. What is official gazette? The official declaration that the law is being passed. Official communication by the government will happen through official gazette. So all our notifications, etc., will all come under the official gazette. If the government appoints some officers, those officers also will be mentioned in the official gazette. That's why you would have seen, take a signature from a gazetted officer, they'll tell. A gazetted officer means whose name and designation is inserted in the official gazette. So in this gazette it will come. Extraordinary Part 2, published by authority, yes. This will be the, now you see, this was Companies Act though. Companies Act 2013 was published in the official gazette from August 30th. Presidential assent, was given here whenever on 29th August it was deemed to have been passed, and then next day they will, give it in the gazette. So when is the law passed? Generally law only will tell you when it will be passed, when it is applicable from. So here if you see, it extends to the whole of India. The section shall come into force at once, means what? The day the parliament approves it, the day the president approves it and it's printed in the official gazette at once. But some laws will tell when the law will come into force. They'll only tell. So if you see our Income Tax Act, guys, section 1 I am showing. You can also open the Bare Act and see section number 1. So guys, for your knowledge, the presidential assent came right here. Yeah, here. Income Tax Act came. The president had given his assent on September 13, 1961. September 13, 1961. Now it will be weird for me suddenly to say, okay, from September 14th it begins. No. So when, according to you, I should make it applicable? When should I make it applicable? Obviously from 1st April, because the entire thing starts only from 1st April, right? I can either do retrospectively, but that is not allowed. Better to do it prospectively. Prospect means future. So if you see the Bare Act now, there you go. Section number 1, Income Tax Act 1961. And guys, for the May 24 and November 24 examination, it is going to be Finance Act 2023. Correct? The book that you have is also Finance Act 2023. Sir, this book is waste after 1 year. Nothing like that, because only few changes will be there. That changes you can anyway figure out. So the book that you have is very, very important. So no problem. Right? Income Tax Act. What is this 43 of 1961, guys? So in the Bare Act only, you can make notes if you want to. Sir, I don't want to touch the Bare Act, very clean it is, I don't want to, then it's your wish. It's your wish, guys. If you want, you can write down there only. If you don't want, it's okay, your wish. But it is my duty to give the Bare Act. And that Bare Act that you have in your hand will be your Bible, Bhagavad Gita, Quran, everything. It is for a chartered accountant, the Bare Act is the holy book. That Bare Act which is in your hand is going to give you a roof above your head. It is going to give you, 3 meals a day, and it is going to give you many, many things. It's going to give you much more than money. It is going to give you respect. So I was very happy when my student shared with me that the manager is asking that thing. It is amazing. It's not that manager doesn't know. He has already earned the respect of manager in 1 week. Imagine. So I told him, boss, you are going to go a long way. You are going to end up becoming a partner of that Big Four, I know for sure. But it's a long way, but you will do it. So the book that you have with you in front is, something like your Bible. So in that book, if you are okay writing stuff on that book, somewhere write your name, guys. You write your name. You write your name on the book, on the Bare Act. And it's just a matter of months. It's just a matter of like a year or so. Just before that name that you have written on the Bare Act, you write these 2 wonderful letters. Imagine, because you'll have this book 1 year later, mark my words. You can, write today's date also, no problem. Whenever you can write whatever date and write, 2020. Assuming you're writing in May and November, I'm going to make it 2025. So write today's date and write the year 2025. 2025. And then your name, and just before your name, these wonderful golden letters. So I'm sure you'll have the Bare Act at least in 2025. And when you open the Bare Act, what you see should be what you will be. So it's just a matter of time. You're almost there, guys. So the thing is, it's just one exam. Once you clear that, you're done. And new syllabus is good in many, many ways. 8 subjects is reduced to 6 subjects. But then you still have to write that self-paced online module. That's not, it's not exactly reduced, so to speak. But still, that burden of clearing 8 papers is reduced to 6 papers, which is actually good. And group 1 will be decent. Group 2 will be tricky. But group 2, even if it's tricky, it's fine because we are now studying the way it has to be studied. And the same concepts, you can add it on into paper 6 as well. Anyway, in paper 6, law also will study the same way. So paper 6 has everything. It has law. You need to know stuff. It's not that you don't know law and you can just do some inky pinky in that self-paced module and come like that. No, it's not possible. So those of you writing in May 24, there's an exemption. No, you don't have to write that self-paced online module and all. But nevertheless, you need to anyway study for paper 6 anyway. The law is important. So either way, guys, how does it feel? Your name. Good. CA dot your name. That is what you're going to. You'll be joining a group of very, very few people. Our population is 140 CR. In that, we just have around 2.5 lakh living chartered accountants. 3.5 lakh is there, but then 1 lakh already gone. They're auditing God now. So 2.5 lakh chartered accountants in India. And the percentage is like crazy. 2.5 lakh in 140 crore is hardly any percentage, right? So if you see, you will also be joining that niche group of people. And that's how it's going to be. Yes. So the book that you're having now, we have to decode it slowly, steadily. As I told you, first 15 classes, you will be like, you will spit on me. Who? Why did I join this fellow's classes? I could have just gone and taken some summary book, passed. It is not about passing the exam, guys. You will exam, you will pass. It's just a means to the end. End here is after passing what? Many CAs have miserably failed after becoming CAs. They have failed after becoming CA. It's a very important word what I am telling. They have failed after becoming CA. An important sentence. Because they do not know how to read the Bare Act. Till today, if you have not touched the Bare Act also, it's absolutely okay. I don't care. At least from now, we will study. In the next 240 hours, I can assure you, 200 plus hours, I can assure you that whatever you have not studied by not reading the bare act, you will be now able to study. We will be analyzing some words, in a very, very better way, easy way as well. Anyway, so this Finance Act, will come to the Finance Act part. So you see here, an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to, this is called as the, what is it called? This dialogue, what is it called? This is the heading, title, Income Tax Act, title. And what is this? 40, okay, next, one by one we'll go. 43 of 1961 means what, guys? What is 43 of 1961? In 1961, this was the 43rd Act to be passed. Which means in 1961, they passed so many laws. The 43rd law was this, Income Tax Act. That is 43 of 1961, as amended by Finance Act 2023. So every year, budget will be released, and that budget will be for the next year, right? That we'll discuss. So Finance Act 2023, in February 2023, Nirmala Madam announced or read out the budget, and that is applicable for which year? 2000, the assessment year, 2024-25, right? But for the financial year, that financial year only. From which financial year? Which financial year it will applicable from? 1st April 23 to 31st March 24, right? 1st April 23 to 31st March 24. But what will be the assessment year? 24-25. All that we'll do it. Don't worry. No problem. So though you have studied everything in Inter, I know how you have studied. So let's ignore the fact. I am assuming that you don't know anything. As simple. We are starting from scratch. So what is that assessment year, financial, or all that we'll see. Don't worry. I'm just showing you when it came into force. Section number 1 is always your preliminary section. It has divided into various chapters, we'll see, but I just want to, this also will come later. You just see here, guys. Here. It shall come into force. It shall come into force on 1st day of April 1962. 1st day of April 1962. So as I told you, first one is called the title. Title will tell us what the act is all about. For example, Income Tax Act. It talks about income tax, which means I need to understand what is tax. I need to understand what is income. What if there was this dialogue, Payment of Bonus Act? You would have seen Payment of Bonus Act. It's an act, speaks about bonus, and it is talking about payment. So you only tell me the title of any law. Will it give away some of the objectives also? Yes. You only tell me tomorrow there is a fight between an employee and an employer. You are the judge. Without even seeing the case, your inclination is towards the employee or employer. I'll just give you the heading of the section, Payment of Bonus Act. So your inclination, you will always be supportive towards employee or employer? Employee. Why? Payment of Bonus Act. See, that's what, payment. The act is only always talking about positively paying the employee. So this is nothing but, Payment of Bonus Act is nothing but what? Employee, I have to support the employee. So the title of the law always does what? Title of the lawmaker, the whatever he has given, Payment of Bonus Act, is always supporting somebody. Depends on Payment of Gratuity Act. Why isn't it Payment of Income Tax Act then? You should think. Why it can be Payment of Income Tax Act? No, supporting the government. No. Because income has various meanings. So to understand what it is, the income definition only will take some 3 hours minimum. So income and tax, 2 things we have to figure out. Generally everything will be passed as a bill, and when it is finally passed in the parliament, it becomes an act. Right? So act anyway is nothing but the final legislation passed. That's okay. But these are the keywords. Payment of Bonus Act, Payment of Gratuity Act. Why isn't it Payment of Income Tax Act then? Because income definition is crazy, and here the government is not looking, the lawmaker is not looking at payment alone, is looking at many other aspects. So that is what the Payment of Income Tax is all about. That's why it's not Payment of Income Tax Act, it is Income Tax Act. So heading of the section generally gives many things to us. Income Tax Act 1961 gives a lot of answers, unanswered questions. 43 of 1961 is the 43rd legislation passed in 1961. Every year it will be amended, guys, as amended by Finance Act 23. For our exam, May 24, November 24, Finance Act 23 is the main thing. Now this other dialogue now, it is called as the preamble. Preamble means what? Introduction to what that particular pre means before. Pre means before. Amble means to walk. Walk. Those of you who are into gaming, there is something called walkthrough. Those of you who are into gaming, I do not understand how to go in this game, this level. So you can go to YouTube and say, give me the walkthrough of Call of Duty Season 5. Walkthrough of the first episode. So some gaming freak could have showed you how to go, how to play, who to kill. It's called walkthrough. So preamble is nothing but just before you enter something, walking through it, in the sense telling what will be the main objective of Income Tax Act. What is it all about? What is Income Tax Act? So the word amble means walk. This word amble also comes in ambulance. Ambulance is something which quickly walks around everywhere, and if you see, goes through many things. That's why ambulance is always what? Fast. Because it's going through many things. The word amble has many meanings. When a baby is born, they will take the baby in one, cart. You would have seen couples carrying the baby everywhere like a shopping cart. It's not exactly a shopping cart. What is it called? It's called pram. The full form of pram is nothing but perambulator. Again, amble. Amble is to walk. Simple. So preamble, sir, we have come for income tax class, not for English class. Come back. Okay. Fine. So it is what? An act to consolidate. Consolidate. Why consolidate, guys? See, every word is so important. And amend the law relating to income tax. What consolidate they'll do? So many laws are there, no? 1860, 65, 67, 68, 69, 70, 1918, 1922. All they will consolidate. This act of 1961 is to consolidate all these acts. And then whenever possible, every year, what? Amend. Relating to, guys, this amend dialogue, if it is not there, can the government amend it? No. In the preamble, it should clearly mention, yes, I want to consolidate and amend. I'm not kidding. You see, for example, in our Companies Act also, see here. Consolidate. Companies Act also, some previous, if you see, just section 2. I'm just trying to tell. An act to consolidate the previous law, right? Consolidate the previous law. I'll just show you what do you mean by the previous law. And just for your knowledge, whichever law you pick up, it's the same, guys. I'm just telling you how it is all similar actually. You see, Companies Act, you see how much was there. Indian Companies Act 1866, Indian Companies Act 1866, 1882, 1913, 1942, 1956. So when I use the word consolidate, I'm going to consolidate all these things. Similarly, my Income Tax Act also. I'm going to consolidate all these things. And if I come to this again, an act to consolidate and amend the law relating to income tax. And super tax means what? So like Superman, Chaddi will be outside. Tax where everything is super. What is super tax? Super tax is generally the tax for the rich people. Like what? Earlier wealth tax used to be there, that's abolished. What is this, guys? You will add for or have you heard about this concept called surcharge? Yes. Super tax is tax for the rich. Surcharge rates will be there, right? Some additional tax will be charged to many people. We will see that later. So that extra portion, this is for tax for the super rich. It's called super tax. The income tax is normal, your slab rate. Me, all of us, Chapadasi fellows, normal fellows, income tax. Super tax is what? For the super rich, surcharge, additional cess if any, additional surcharge. Any other special rate of tax only for that. It's called super tax. We'll see that. So this is income tax and super tax. You probably never would have heard this dialogue, super tax. Right? It's weird. Only when you see the preamble, you will come to know. When you see the bare act, I'm really telling you, if you have read the Bhagavad Gita, Quran, Bible, whatever it is, every dialogue you can interpret so many things if you read from the source document, right? So here also the same thing, right? So based on this preamble only, some 25 pages are there. Those books, these are only few books. Other books are at my home, right? These are all commentaries on law, commentaries on income tax, commentaries on company law. Each one section is some 200 pages in that. Not kidding. So in this they have given all these things. And my job is what? To read all those things and concise and tell it in 240 hours. That is my job. That is what I am doing. Right? So if you see all this, you have to keep on reading stuff to understand what do you mean by consolidation. To make this chart, this was 200 pages in that book. Right? That's what it is. So that is my job. My job is to simplify the tax for you. You shouldn't attend the class and think, why did I take up CA? Then what's the point? You attend the class and say, that's all income tax is all about, chiller. So that is my job. My job is to ensure that the law will be simplified. And by the end of 240 hours, you should never feel income tax is difficult. It's actually very easy, guys. You just need to, I'll tell you, always tell one dialogue, always you need to trust the process. I don't care if you trust me or not, but trust the process. Process will never ever fail. The process, the only process to clear examination the right way is the Bare Act methodology. 10 years ago when I told this, people laughed at me. Now, I don't want to laugh at them, but then they have realized their mistakes. So that time when I started the process, law was always about mugging up, summary book, and it's all about, shortcut, etc. I released the summary book recently, like a couple of years ago only, after telling the people how important it is to read the Bare Act. Then I summarized everything. So which is, those who studied from me, that summary book was very easy. So same, this also is like a summary book only, actually, if you think about it. All the workbook is like a summary book. And of course, my material honestly is like a summary book. Everything that we have done summarized into this content here. It is like a summary book. So wherever it is essential, we have given in red. All the examples are in green, like that. And some important notes are in this other color. Anyway, coming back, guys, we're still discussing this. An act to consolidate and amend the law related to income tax and super tax. Super tax means for the super rich fellows. And you see, be it enacted by Parliament in the 12th year of the Republic of India. 12th year. When did the Republic of India come? 1956. 12th year? When? 12th year of the Republic of India. When did it come? So when did this pass? Republic of India, okay, Republic Day is different, but I'm trying to tell that when did you get independence? Yeah, but then actually when did the Republic thing happen? It was 1949, 1950-ish. So 12 years later is nothing but 1961. Correct? And that is when it was formed. 12th year of the Republic of India. 1949 is when it was created. 1949, 1950. So 12 years after that, 1961. Yes. First one is always called preliminary. Short title, extent and commencement. Always it is like short title. Short title of the act. There is no title, only small. What you will do short title of that? Income tax, and that is the title of the law. Extent means what? It extends to where all? The case this extends obviously to the whole of India. Anything that relates to money, fiscal legislation, money, always relates to the whole of India. No except Jammu and Kashmir and all that nonsense. Anyway, now everything is whole of India. Third one, this I will come to it later. It shall, mandatory, it shall come into force on the first day of April 1962. It shall, no mercy, come into force on the first day of April 1962. Though it was passed on 13 September, one second, though it was passed on 13 September 1961, it came into force on 1st April 1962. 1st April 1962. So this is when it came into force. Now, interesting to know, here we'll come to this Indian Constitution and all that, we'll see later, no problem. Coming to this guy, sources of law. According to you, whenever I say law now, of course our Income Tax Act is definitely a law, undoubtedly. But we need to understand what are the sources of law. What are the sources? First one we just discussed now, guys, that is the legislature. We just discussed that concept. What happens? First, the draft will be circulated to the public. Then it will go to the standing committee. They will deliberate it. And then it will go to the Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha will again deliberate it, pass it, Rajya Sabha, then the president, then ultimately official gazette. That's fine. All laws are passed like that only. That's fine. But in India, there are other two sources, interestingly. Second source. What could be the second source, guys? Judicial precedent. Judicial precedent. Precedent means something that has happened for the first time. Before that, before anything happens, for the first time it happens, it's called precedent. Precedent is the first time ever. It has never before happened in the history. Now tell me, the legs of the foundation of every democracy will be your legislature, judiciary, and executive. Legislature is a law-making body, you know. Judiciary makes the law or interprets the law. They will never make any law. They will only interpret the law. So a judge will only interpret the law. You guys, the best part is, okay, third one, executive. What is executive? Executive executes the law, ensures that law is followed by each and every citizen of our country. Who is an executive? IAS officer, IFS officer, Indian Foreign Service, Indian Forest Service, Indian Police Service, Indian Administrative Service, Indian Revenue Service, IRS. They are only seeing whether the citizens are following the law or not. Will they make the law? No. Will they interpret the law? Yes, they will go to court decisions and figure out what will be the interpretations and do it. You as a CA, guys, that's the best part. You can be a judge. Here you can be a judge. You can interpret. You can be a lawmaker. Piyush Goyal, chartered accountant. Then Suresh Prabhu, chartered accountant. Rahman Khan, earlier he was there, chartered accountant. So many CAs are there already, guys, in the legislature. Judiciary, so many chartered accountants who are judges are there. I have a video on YouTube which became viral. I don't know how. This was on, because of the topic only, obviously. ICI versus CA student on video I had released. This is how a CA student got justice after this revaluation and all. I mean, there was marks which was cut from her. So it went to the court and the judge was a chartered accountant. So he actually gave justice to the CA student, right? So it was a nice decision, very nice decision. So yes, executive, how many CAs are there, guys? IRS officers, Indian Revenue Service, Administrative Service, so many people. police service. After CA, they have joined police force. One in Kerala, one of my seniors is actually a police officer after becoming CA. Right, imagine. So you can execute it. IRS officers, they'll join IRS, they'll join, write UPSC and join the Indian Revenue Service. So you have all these people. You can be a person who's a lawmaker, you can be a person who's an interpreter of law, and you can be a person who executes the will of the legislature and of course judiciary. Lawmaker writes the law according to the intention of what the government wants. Judiciary will never make the law. Judiciary will only interpret the law. For example, if in this whatever we told, when I say, save as otherwise provided in this act, what do you mean by that is what the judge will think and give a judgment if any case is in front of him. He will never ever sit and make the law. Only one exception is this. I was coming to that only. This is the exception. This is the exception when the lawmaker, when the judiciary becomes the lawmaker. Judiciary tells, boss, this has to be the law. As simple as that. What is judicial precedent? Never before happened. This happened, for example, in the Nirbhaya rape case. Nirbhaya, that lady, unfortunately, was raped and murdered by people on a moving bus, which created complete sensation back in the day. You may remember, obviously, which threw up many questions on women's safety, threw up many questions on the law at that time. So guys, before we go here, I just want to ask you, law punishes the body or the mind? Body. So when I'm suing, when I'm obviously committed a crime and I'm jailed for, let's say, 5 months or jailed for 1 year, is it the body or the mind? Can be both, or only body, only mind? Both. So guys, there is this concept. In criminal law, there is a concept called mens rea. Mens rea means criminal intention. Mens rea means criminal intention. Lawmaker only frames the law, but when the judge is interpreting the law, he will check, especially in criminal legislation, they will check something called as mens rea, the criminal intention of the human mind. So there are 3 cases, for example. First case, you are walking on the road, some thief comes and tells, give me your money. We are CA students. What is there in the wallet? Nothing is there. But wallet is gifted by our girlfriend. Self-respect is there. Hey, I will not give you my girlfriend's wallet. She has given me. Then you will fight. At one point of time, when you can hit that person here in the temple, you can actually kill a person. You know that, right? Here, if you hit in a particular angle, that person can die. So you and the thief are fighting and you are a karate expert. And when you're hitting, you don't intend to kill him, mind you. Self-defense. Playing and you hit him here, drops down dead. Have you committed homicide? Yes. Side means killing. Homi means homo sapiens. That is killing of a human being. So in my first example, have you committed homicide? Yes. You can't say no. You have killed a human being. Second, you would have watched in the movies where wife suddenly, she's gone on a business trip and suddenly she comes to surprise the husband. Wife only gets a surprise. Right? Husband is with some other lady. Affair. You would have seen. You would have seen in the movies and all that, guys. Now the wife, in a fit of rage, she'll become Kali Mata suddenly. In a fit of rage, whatever is available, some knife is there, go and kill. It has happened. I'm not even making it up. You would have seen in the news, you have seen in the newspaper so many cases. Fit of rage means what? Anger. Sudden anger. She just kills, she just goes and plunges her knife into the husband's heart. Husband is dead. Is it homicide? Yes. After she kills, she realizes what she did. Immediately. Homicide. Third one. Ajmal Kasab. They carefully, let's assume he only killed one person. Not so many people. So that you will understand this carefully. He carefully planned that he wanted to take out one person. He wanted to kill one person. So he planned it. How to dispose of the body. Everything he planned carefully. And then he came and he killed. That is also homicide. You are the judge, guys. You are standing all the three homicide cases in front of you. Who will get the longer sentence? Ajmal Kasab. Why? He carefully planned, executed, disposed of the body. You will be seeing in the news now, guys, when husband poisoned the wife, chopped the wife into pieces. You are reading the newspaper. It's all happening. I'm not even making up anything. Imagine he did not even have not only the intention to kill, but also to dispose of the body by chopping the body into pieces. You would have seen one more case where the live-in partner was murdered and he chopped the body and disposed of various places and poisoned, and he was burning with acid, all these horrible things that you see. So I am not even making up on any of these things. A judge is sitting in front and three people are there. One CA student who killed out of self-defense. Second, the wife who killed in a fit of rage. Third, person who not only killed but also disposed of the body in very various gory but creative ways. All three have committed the same crime, mens rea. This in Indian Penal Code, it is called culpable homicide. Sir, we came for income tax class or IPC, Indian Penal Code class, everything, all in one, right? So guys, I am just building the foundation because without this, nothing, we cannot even go ahead. Culpable homicide. Kalpa means guilt. So culpable means guilt, blame, etc. So culpable means what? Where the guilt or blame is established. Homicide, killing of a human being. So in Indian Penal Code, there is this dialogue called culpable homicide. Then Indian Penal Code confuses you. One says culpable homicide amounting to murder. Culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Sir, full confusion. What is this? Culpable homicide amounting to murder. Culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Guys, very simple. The difference between these two is mens rea. The judge will decide. Both cases homicide, yes. But did you have the intention to kill? So depending on the lawyer's brilliance, that's why the lawyer comes in now. These first two cases, one of self-defense, second is fit of rage, can come under culpable homicide not amounting to murder. Because you never intended to kill. Here the sentence is less. But culpable homicide amounting to murder, this has a rigorous imprisonment. It can also result in the death penalty which happened in Nirbhaya case. Rarest of the rare cases, they said, I cannot believe that you have killed. The same criminal mindset will also come in fraud, income tax, tax evasion. Did you have the mindset or did it by mistake? I'll come and raid your house, 300 crore I found. Sir, by mistake, sir. I kept that in the toilet by mistake, underneath the toilet. No mistake. You had the intention to evade tax. As simple as that. Criminal intention is called mens rea. Deadly it is. Right? So, this criminal intention, that is why we need to study mens rea. In our entire assessment procedure, there is one section called 147, income escaping assessment. What is income escaping assessment? You have not put that in the return. You have not offered it to tax. Now the intention is good or bad? Obviously bad. No, law will assume it's bad only. You prove it whether it's good or not. I will assume it's bad. You have done cheating. You have cheated me. So that's why it is important to understand mens rea. Now why I told you all this is, coming back to our discussion, in Nirbhaya case, according to Indian Penal Code, so again to conclusion, law punishes the body or the mind? The mind actually. Mind, always the mind. First one, you killed out of self-defense, you never intended to kill. Second one, the rage consumed you. Yes, you killed a human being, but you immediately regretted. That doesn't mean you kill somebody and go and tell sorry, I'm sorry. No. Here it is genuine in the fit of rage. Mind is a very dangerous thing. It can do anything in that rage. Have you guys ever got angry? In that anger, you tell something, you do something which you don't intend to do. So you utter some words which are very, very sharp and very, very hurtful. Instantly you'll regret it. Like next day, like I shouldn't have told that, my mistake. And you'll go and apologize to that person. You genuinely feel sorry. That is the second part. Now the beauty is in the lawyer proving this. That is why lawyers are paid so much money. Criminal lawyers. They have to stand in front of the court and say, sir, this fellow killed. I'm not saying no. But the intention only was not there. How well he argues the case. This can come under this also, this also. Second one actually. Third one, 100% culpable homicide amounting to murder. And the worst thing in Indian Penal Code, my dear friends, was that the lawmakers had written that you can commit this entire crime only if you are 18 plus. Imagine. Means less than 18, you don't even have the intention to commit a crime. And in Nirbhaya case, the person who actually did horrible things to that poor lady was a 16-year-old kid. Judge was like, I cannot take this. Right? He was the one who, I shouldn't be telling this, but ripped out that lady's intestines. 16-year-old kid. Judge said, I will not take this. I cannot say that this fellow doesn't have criminal intention. For the first time in the history, what did the judge say? Change the law. Make it 16 immediately. See, judge is telling, I will not, it's 18 years, I cannot take it, make it 16 right now. 16-year-old, you change the law in Indian Penal Code whereby the, age where under criminal liability you can be put under criminal liability is 16 and not 18. And 16 is only in the rarest of the rare cases, because this is the rarest of the rare case. Do it right now. So what happened? Immediately a motion was passed and unanimously the legislature passed a resolution what? That they amended the Indian Penal Code. And what they say? Establishment of mens rea can also be done at age 16. So that's why, guys, this is a source of law. Source of law, judicial precedent. Very rare. Third thing that happens here is very much part of the Indian legacy, very much part of Indian tradition. What is that? Today after class, you'll go, first day class today, you'll go. There's a temple next lane. You'll go to the temple. Can you walk in with your slippers in the temple? They would have written there, please remove your footwear. You'll walk in there directly. That fellow will say, sir, please, slippers are not allowed. You'll tell him, show me the temple removal of chappal act. You show me that law, then I will definitely not wear. Here I don't have any policy like that, but in case some institutions you would have seen that you should remove your slippers and then come inside. If you don't follow that, they'll say, sorry sir, you're not allowed. Like in our library here, Swadhyaya, that's because it's carpeted. because we'll come from outside. That's the only reason actually. It will again stink and all that. So for that we have a rule. You have to remove your slippers outside and go and study. That's fair. But the thing is, again, now if you walk in with your slippers and anybody says, hey, what is this? Can you say, show me removal of Chappal Act in library? No. Right? Many of your, some of your parents would have told, no, don't cut the nails after 6 o'clock. Don't go for haircut on Tuesday. Correct? Now, the thing is, have you ever asked them why? Mainly, they don't have any answer to it. Right? Some of it they have answers, some of it don't have answers. On every Ayudha Puja day, or any something when we buy a new vehicle or whatever, forget about Ayudha Puja, a new vehicle when we buy, what they'll do? They'll put flowers everywhere and 2 lemon. Lemon we will put in the tire and then we will do it. You ask them why. I always go to the source for everything. I tried figuring out why they did all this lemon thing. Puja and all, I totally understand. I respect it. Fine. Lemon, why? My logic is 2 lime juice is going there. I can have lime soda. And simply or going on it and simply it's waste. Because I want to know the reason. Tell me a scientific reason why you are putting the lemon under the tire. I will follow. No problem. Nobody told me. Then I went to the source. Actually, guys, I did a lot of research and one old person, very learned person told me. He's like, during the olden days, when you bought these, those time carts were there, bullock carts. Bullock carts, the entire, the bullock cart, the tire which it had, wooden tire, it had an iron rim. That iron rim was brand new. And you cannot take that iron rim directly into the ground. It has to be smeared with some chemical or some natural thing which will ensure that the rust will not set in. And that natural thing during those days was lime. Lime has some chemical properties along with iron. It doesn't rust easily, it doesn't get dirty easily. That is why they used to smear the lime. Actual reason, imagine, even I didn't know. Recently only I came to know, 1 year ago. These fellows now everywhere. Recently, when we got a car a couple of years ago, that time also my dad put all 4, like 4 lemon juice gone. Instead, I'll do it. Now, when parents tell, okay, fine, 1, 4, why to simplify it? Okay, put 6 also if you want, I don't care. So the thing is, but there is a reason for everything. But in India, guys, third source, believe it or not, is our customs and tradition. You should not ask any question. Why is chappal removed? It's a custom. Shut up and do it. That's it. Nothing. Why aren't women allowed in Sabrimala? Custom. This went to court, right? In India, this is a huge problem, guys. Customs and tradition is a huge problem. Because each person believes in the same thing. One set of people believe in eating meat. They eat every kind of meat. For them, chicken is also meat. Goat is also meat. Cow is also meat. Other set of people believe in their custom, cow is the mother. You cannot kill the mother. Others you can kill. Some believe that you should not kill any animal. Now, these are all various custom, tradition and their own beliefs. Now, which is right, which is wrong, you cannot tell. It's their own customary thing. Some people don't eat meat on a Monday, you would have seen. So, are you veg or non-veg? People they ask, I'm full 100% vegetarian, only on Monday. Other days, full 100% non-vegetarian. Mondays, I will not eat. Saturday, they will not eat. I asked why. No, it's a custom. They will not make meat on Saturdays. Fine. Why and all, I don't know. It's a custom. Don't ask questions. That why I don't know. So in India, this is because of so many religions that we have, so many customs, so many subcaste, caste, etc. Cultural differences, customs and tradition. Things change. Right? In South India, when we go to somebody's house and we'll put one dive, they'll give one something in a cover. You open the cover, at 101 rupees will be there. But the same thing in North India, 5,000, 10,000 and all they'll give. That's the custom. Correct? So in South India, it is weird. We are not accustomed to all these things. See, there also the word accustomed. We are not accustomed to receiving so much money. But there in North India, that's customary to do that. In South India, in some places, if you say no when you're having so much food, when you say it's enough, it's enough. In North India, they get offended if you say no. They'll keep putting, you have to keep eating. So, see, even in India, in North and South only so many differences are there, customary differences. That's fine. So, in India, there's a very, very strange thing, guys. Customs and tradition play a huge role in shaping our thing. So, what are the sources of law? These three are the sources of law, actually. Our income tax also comes from certain customs. When we see, for example, can you pay remuneration to a partner? Can you pay remuneration to a partner? As per Indian Partnership Act, you should not. As per Indian Partnership Act, you cannot pay remuneration to a partner. But then Indian Partnership Act also tells one dialogue. Subject to the contract. Means what? If the partners agree that they have to take remuneration, then they can take remuneration. So, to be honest with you, so many changes, so many places, they keep on changing. I'll just show you whatever I'm trying to tell. Sorry, PPT, old one. Crash course. Old stuff, some old files are there. But anyway, I just want to show you this one. See. I just asked you one question. Can you pay remuneration to your partners? So if you see, here, partner is not entitled to receive remuneration. That is a law. But see this dialogue. Subject to the contract between the partners, which means partners, if they agree, then they can do it. Here, in the absence of any custom, then you can do all these things. But if there is already a custom that you have to, for example, you cannot acquire immovable property on behalf of the firm. You cannot transfer immovable property on behalf of the firm. Means what? As a managing partner, you cannot purchase immovable property without asking other partners. You cannot dispose of immovable property. But see this, in the absence of any custom. You are a partnership firm of 50 years old. Customarily, the managing partner is doing all this. Customarily, the managing partner is taking remuneration. Is it allowed? Yes. So based on that, income tax realizes that, guys, and that is why, for example, we have section 40B, which probably would have studied in Inter. What is 40 small b? Remuneration to partners, interest to partners, calculation. So income tax law clearly gives importance to customs and tradition also. When Partnership Act is telling partners remuneration cannot be paid, Income Tax Act is giving tax on remuneration. How is it possible? Because Partnership Act allows if it is customary to give, means agreement, to an agreement, to custom. Income Tax Act, okay, in case you are taking remuneration, okay, 40B. So, income tax law, it's your custom not to take in the bank account, it's a custom to take cash collection. Income Tax Act doesn't care about how the money is coming in. Cash is cash. So, that's the beauty. They were in a, what do you say, Income Tax Act. I mean, you are in a business of, what do you say, something doing illegal. You are into collection of hafta, gundagiri, all those things. You are making a lot of money. Income Tax Act, will it charge income tax there also? Yes. There is no definition of legal income, illegal income, nothing. Income is income. So that's the beauty. So all the three sources, legislature, judicial precedent, which is like very rare, and customs and especially customs and tradition. has to be merged, and only then the particular source of law has to be ascertained. And in Income Tax Act, that is the source of law: legislature, judicial precedent, and customs and tradition. So that is how it is. So we'll do. Did you understand, guys? So all this they'll not ask. Explain the sources of law, 2 marks. No. But we should know what it is. Now Sabrimala, it went to the court because of legislature versus customs. And what is the legislature here? The foundation of our entire country, Constitution of India. Constitution says, one of the articles say what? Freedom of religion. Anybody can choose whichever religion you want to. Personal liberty. It is you have the liberty to go and do whatever you want. That versus customs. Women are not allowed in Sabrimala. Went to court. Right? Went to court. So, one of the greatest decisions ever in the history of Constitution. Every CA student, every commerce student should know Kesavananda Bharati case law. It spoke about the basic structure doctrine. So one deadly lawyer was there, Nani Palkiwala. He argued for Kesavananda Bharati. I'll just tell you the gist of the story, not the entire case. Kesavananda Bharati was on Swamiji. Government under the Indira Gandhi rule, what did she do? She took over all the land forcefully from this. Kesavananda Bharati had bought that property. This lady told all the people who have these, stuff, it now belongs to the government. This was the main case where lawyer said, you are now going against the Indian Constitution. I have freedom to buy whatever I want. Who are you to take over? And that too for random reasons. First, she took over all the kingdoms from these Raja Maharajas who were there. That is fine, because we are Republic of India, boss. It's not your property. It's government's property. Palaces, etc. You please give me. I will give you something in return. I'll give you one, every month I will give you something called remuneration. So she created something called privy purse. Take it. Take money. Some kings didn't agree to this. If you see even Udaipur, that king said, no, this is my palace. I'll not give you. Do whatever you want. So that's okay. But majority of them agreed. Why you want to look after all this? Give it to the government. No, we'll give you money. Okay, fine. No problem. Till you die, we'll give you. You're sorted. Fine. Kesavananda Bharati also, he was a Swamiji. His land was taken away by the government for horrible reasons with zero logic. He went and said, boss, my Indian constitution rights are getting affected. First time in the history of the country, guys, 13 judges were in the Supreme Court. 13 judges. 6 people said government is correct. 7 people said government is wrong. Very, very tough battle. 7-6 ratio. Kesavananda Bharati won. And the judge ruled, you cannot change the basic structure of the constitution. According to you, can't keep changing. When you have bought something, it is your right. You have the right, freedom of ownership. Anybody cannot come and take it away like that. But in Income Tax Act, there is a small exception to this. Compulsory acquisition of what? Metro is going on, no? They'll come and acquire this entire road. Yes. So, that's the beauty. See, income tax. That was again source, customs and tradition. Basic structure. You cannot go against the constitution. Sabrimala case, you cannot go against the constitution. Beef ban, the hijab case. All between customs and the law. Correct? Customs and the actual constitution. All because of that. Now whether a student can wear hijab or not wear hijab, as per customs he can wear. she can wear as per Indian constitution. Again, that's a different thing. It's allowed. But then again, fighting. What I'm trying to say, I'm not supporting anybody or going against anybody. I'm just telling how it is. In India, majority of the cases are because of this only. Customs versus legislature. Governments are thrown out. Classic example, Karnataka elections. Governments are thrown out because of the divide between customs and what you feel is the law. So I am just giving a mirror as to what is happening in real life. Simple. So, but in Income Tax Act in law, there is a very big distinction to Kesavananda Bharati, very big, exception. That is our compulsory acquisition. For metro construction, I can take over property. Yes, I can, for a valid reason. Compensation is given. That compensation also will tax. Income Tax Act will tax everything. But if I take over the land for army purposes, army wants to take over the defense purposes, they want to make it into a naval base, they want to make it into an army base, then there is one more law. Right to fair compensation, one long law is there. Under that, income tax is exempt. Means if I take this entire property and today army will create one army base here, they'll give me 1 crore for that, tax free. So we should study so many things. I'm just giving you the foundation, that's all. We have not even started anything. I'm just trying to tell you our law is so much, and none of this will come in the exam. I can again tell you, but guys, without knowing this, what's the point of reading income tax? Okay, first class assessment here, previous year, then we'll start off. That's not the point. You should understand the basics. Most important, you should understand the basics. So we'll now do the structure of the entire Income Tax Act to understand what would be the entire structure. And then we can, of course, we'll see bifurcation of section, basis of charge. We'll see. This is a structure of law, guys. Structure of law. What is it? Let's see. Yeah. Income Tax Act. Guys, when I say the law, it is given in the Constitution. I'll have to come back to the Indian Constitution. I will open for you Indian Constitution. Just show you. Again, all this is not needed for you to have open or have a separate constitution as such, but you should know what all it is. You see this? Check this, guys. So first, each of this is called as an article. Indian Constitution, the foundation of the entire legislation, you see. Article 265. What does it say? It says, taxes are not to be imposed save by authority of law. Save means except. Except law. We are clearly telling legislature will make the law. And which law I'm talking about? Taxes. Taxes cannot be imposed except legislature. Today you are attending classes. Can I say 1000 rupees tax you have to pay? You will say, where? Who are you? Which tax? TJ tax. There is no tax. I cannot charge any tax. It should either be state government or central government. You see, no tax shall be levied or collected. Levied means charged or collected except by authority of law. Simple as that. So first and foremost, guys, that's what once you make charts, no need to study anything. That's enough. Constitution of India, which one? Article 265. Article 265 clearly says that for tax to be imposed only by law. Tax to be imposed only by law, nobody else. Now this law can be of two types. One is via something called as an ordinance. Ordinance. Article 123. Ordinance. One more is Article 245. Article 245. Let's see 245 first. Have you heard of the word ordinance before? No? Okay. 245. See here. Extent of laws. Again, we saw their law in 265. Your extent of law made by Parliament and by legislatures of states. By Parliament and legislature of states. Subject to the provisions of Constitution, Parliament may make laws for the whole or any part of the territory of India, and legislature may make laws for the whole or any part of the state. Alcohol is banned in Karnataka or in Gujarat? Alcohol. Gujarat or Karnataka? Where is it banned? Gujarat. It's a state law. Correct? So like that, many states have banned gutka, tobacco. Right? So it's the state law. So here they are just trying to tell Article 245. What are they trying to tell? They are trying to tell that central government and state government can make the laws. Can make the laws. Central government and state government can make the laws. What it says, see? Parliament and then other things. And no, if you see, legislature of a state may make laws for the whole or part of any state. And because of this, guys, there are three types of lists. What are those lists? You would have heard this. Union list, state list, and sometimes both will come together and do concurrent list. Union list, state list, and concurrent list. What is an ordinance? If I come here, yes, power of the President of India to promulgate the ordinances during the recess of the Parliament. Means what? Recess of the Parliament means when Parliament has taken a break, when Parliament is not in force. I need to provide some emergency law. Emergency. Best example I can give is COVID. There was something called Disaster Management Act of 2001. Useless law it was. Because till such time we did not have any major disaster like COVID. That section did not, that act did not have any power to the police to jail somebody, nothing. So it was a useless law, some 500 rupees fine, something was there. People were breaking the law left, right, center. When they told you don't go out, you went out. They're telling there's a disaster there, I will jail you. Tell me which section you will jail me, nothing is there. Actually that's true. The government said enough is enough. What happened? They made an ordinance. When Parliament was not in session during COVID, so what did they do? President promulgate means he will, what do you say, come out with an ordinance. Ordinance is like a temporary law. If at any time, COVID for example, except when both the houses of parliament are in session, means if the parliament is in session, government will do. Except means when the parliament is not in session, the president is satisfied that the circumstances are existing which render it necessary for him to take immediate action. What should they put in the ordinance here? Jail, punishment. For whom? For people violating the orders of the government. He may promulgate such ordinance as the circumstances appear to him to require. If he feels that I want to take immediate action, he can come out with an ordinance. And this ordinance is an actual law, or it should be passed by the parliament later. It's like a temporary law. An ordinance promulgated under the article shall have the same effect, but every ordinance shall be laid before both the houses, and it shall cease to operate at the expiration of 6 weeks from the reassembly of the parliament. It's very simple. Once the parliament comes into force, within 6 weeks, what I should do? Place the ordinance and get it passed. There is one law called Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. In 2018-17, so many ordinances came. It came 6 weeks over, it got expired. Again, one more ordinance, 6 weeks over, got expired, like that. But ultimately, you can keep on passing the ordinances until the legislature passes the law. Is it actually passed by the parliament? Yes, it is. Here, it is an effect as an act of parliament itself, shall have the same effect. But every ordinance shall be laid and taken before the expiration by approving or disapproving by both the houses. That is the ordinance. See, beautiful. Power is given where, guys? Article 123. So who can make the law? President. But ultimately he has to take the approval of the both houses. That's why I said legislature is a law-making body. Legislature makes the law either directly or through ordinances. Got it? Which one? Not approved means like it is gone. Again, one more ordinance. That's why IBC, so many times that ordinance was not, placed before the parliament only. But if it's not approved, then for that interim period, it's still valid. But from there, they'll make changes to it. That's why. Generally, since it's emergency, no, it will be approved. But in case it is not, then still also new legislation will come. But whatever actions were taken during that period will be valid. You cannot invalidate those things because actually it is act of the parliament only. It is passed by the parliament only. Yeah? So ordinance, Article 245 done. Now coming to this Article 245. You have the union list, state list and the concurrent list. Union list, state list and the concurrent list. So guys, we are talking about income tax. Union list under Article 245, union list is the list given by the, Constitution as to what all can the union means what all can the central government pass legislation on. State list is what all the state government can pass. Concurrent list is what both of them put together can pass. Now tell me, income tax is a state law or union law? Union law, which means I have to open the list as per 246 of the Indian Constitution. If you see 245, we saw 245. 246 says that here they can make laws by doing union list and state list. So as per that union list and state list, you see, check, we have See here, guys. Entry number 82. Entry number 82. Taxes on income other than agricultural income. Who will make the law? Who will make the law? Central government or state government? Central government, union list. So here, guys, union list. Entry 82. Tax on income other than agricultural income. Can Indian government tax agricultural income? No. Who can do? Indian governments. Can central government do it? No. Which means who can do? State government. Central government cannot do. It says taxes on income other than agricultural income. So which means can state government have provisions of what? Can the state government have provisions of what? This thing. What do you say? Taxing income on agricultural income? Yes. So you have to see the state list. You see all this is fine. See the state list here. Entry number 46, you see. Taxes on agricultural income. Which list? State list. So, state. Concurrent list you leave. State list entry 46. Entry number 82 of the central government union list. Entry number 46 of the state list. This is which one, guys? Agricultural income. So today, if Karnataka government wants to charge income tax on agricultural income, where should they make the change in? Where is the power derived? Entry number 46 of the, state list, which is granted to them under Article 246 of the Constitution. Nobody can challenge it. 245 says laws can be made. 246 says through lists. And entry number 46 of Article 246 says what? State government can make income tax, can charge income tax on agriculture. Entry number 82 is this. Tax on income. Tax on income. But you may wonder, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, government started something called service tax. Oh, it is GST that you leave. I'm talking about service tax. They said, if you are going to a hotel, you are eating something. Is it a service or is it a good? VAT, value added tax, was in the concurrent list. But government wanted to charge something where VAT is a state law. That's fine. Government wanted to charge something whereby for every service provided by a service provider, there was a tax that has to be collected. So they started something called service tax. Now you come to class, you pay 5,000 rupees fee plus service tax. We forget about GST for a moment, service tax. Now the thing is, the power for the government to charge that service tax, can it go through entry number 82? No. Why? Entry number 82 is tax on income. You went and said, sir, I am paying 5,000 rupees to that fellow. And you are asking me only to pay service tax. So it is not income. It's not income. It's income for that fellow, but I am paying the tax now. Ultimately, I am bearing the money. Oh, so entry number 82 was not possible. So service tax, that is one example. Government wants to charge service tax, under which entry will they pass? Right? Second one, interesting thing that happened recently 2-3 years ago. So you have Amazon, you have Alibaba, China, you have Walmart. Now all these, for example, Alibaba, they all have their headquarters, assume, in a place called Seychelles. Seychelles is a place where there is no tax only. It's a tax haven. No tax. Alibaba, you sitting in India will order something from Alibaba. Google also for that matter. Google ads and all you do, no? You are ordering something from Alibaba. Google ads you subscribe for. You pay 1 lakh rupees here. Alibaba you purchase some 5 lakh rupees. Sitting there, they'll put some, put in money here. You put money 1 lakh, 5 lakh, and they'll send you the goods. Here you subscribe for Google ads, they'll give you the service. Government, first one, they wanted income tax. So the question Google and Alibaba said is, sir, first of all, income tax will come only if the income is accrued or rising in India, for which I should have a business in India. I don't have. Just because money came from India, you cannot tax. Do I have a permanent establishment in India? No. Do I have a branch in India? No. Google later had that, but the main thing happens in Google LLC. That is your other company. It's not in Google India. Alibaba and some random subsidiaries there. Take Alibaba. Alibaba doesn't have any business in India. For example, Tesla also. Like let's say Tesla also doesn't have any business in India as such. But Alibaba is the best example because it's a Chinese company. If you order something from Alibaba, he'll say, boss, I did not, that Indian fellow paid me, I exported I sent the goods to him, that's it, chapter close. What income tax you are charging? It's not income. Any money that I'm earning, Alibaba, I'll pay tax in China. Why should I pay it here to you? So, and the best part is they are not even paying in China. Why? Their company was registered in Seychelles where there was no tax. China also lost. India also lost. Tax evasion was happening. Because Indian law doesn't tell, even other laws also don't tell, if your income is derived from somewhere else, why will you charge tax? Ultimately, residential status will be where your company is registered. Where is it registered? Seychelles. Seychelles doesn't have tax only. Cheating. So, all these countries came together. Later we'll see. All these countries came together. They said, bro, this is full cheating. What they're doing is 100% cheating. So there is this organization. Do you know? Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. OECD. OECD came together. 120, 130 countries. They said, we are losing so much business and we are not collecting any money from them because they are registered in these tax havens. So guys, all of them decided to charge tax now at the rate of 6%. On what? On every transaction that happens like this. Some cases it's 2%, we'll see. Is this income? Is this income? No. When will it be income? Only if it is deemed to accrue or arise in India. Money may go out from India, but I don't have any permanent establishment in India. How will you, on what basis are you charging? So they created, and this, my dear friends, was called equalization levy. It's a very important concept in international tax. We'll see that later. My only discussion is all these things are there. I understand. But where will you charge the tax? It's a big question. Where will you charge it? In India, outside India, where will you charge it? So, correct. No, where will I charge? I don't know. I want to charge in India. Okay, 6%, which means if an Indian is buying something Alibaba, it should be 5 lakh rupees plus 6%. He should charge there only and then he should pay. Because Alibaba will be like, why should I pay? You charge, you please take that cost on yourself, no? 6%. I am not paying 1 rupee also. My income is 5 lakhs. Now, my first question was your service tax. Second question was equalization levy. These are not taxes on income at all. Income concept only is not there. Government still wants to tax. How will they do it? Guys, nothing which is not allowed in the constitution, you cannot do it. That's why one very nice entry comes, guys, here. Entry number 97. Any other matter not enumerated in entry number in list number 2 or list number 3, including any tax not mentioned in either of those lists. So back in the day, service tax was part of which one? Entry number 97. That time, because service tax is on service, not on income. And now recently, equalization levy also came under which entry? Entry number 97. It is not entry number 46 and all that. Why it is not entry number 46? Because 82, 46 not possible. Why? Because it's not income. So you have one is entry number 982, one more is entry number 97. And what is that entry number 97? Residual. Residual entry. Entry number 97 is a residual entry. Residual entry means what? If 82 is not possible, in case I want to charge tax, I will charge under which section? 97. Entry number 97. So our income tax, if you have everything in the Cayman Islands and all these things, our income tax is done here. Through 97, I will charge. It is not income tax exactly, it is other tax. Equalization levy is not income tax. So as I told you, in the sources of law, we have legislature, judicial president and customs and tradition, and we have the legislature, judiciary and executive. Who is the executive under Income Tax Act? The IRS officers. Executive under the income tax law. As I told you, we have the legislature. We just discussed now how the law is passed, so all those lists, etc. Also understood the sources of law. Judiciary, we will be seeing throughout the classes. High Court decision, Supreme Court decision. Third one is the executive. We will be studying about that also. Executive is your Indian Revenue Service. Indian Revenue Service, IRS. IRS officers, IAS officers, IFS officers, Indian Legal Service officers, but for income tax purposes, it is the IRS. We have the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Equivalent fellow is Director General of Income Tax. We have the Commissioner of Income Tax, Principal Director General of Income Tax, same level. Then we have the Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals. So these are what? The top. Then the middle and lower management will be Joint Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner, Income Tax Officers. This is the general stuff. Joint Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner and Income Tax Officer, ITO. Now this ITO, all these people now guys, you would have seen, no, income tax notice came, income tax notice came, notice came. Who will send the notices? These four fellows. They will do the entire administration. All notices, everything will be sent by these fellows only. These fellows are the top fellows. Appeal, if any appeal goes, I'll have to go to these people. But ultimately, all administrative things is done by them. Guys, earlier, people used to send notices individually in their personal name. Now also they'll send personally. But all these things, after the BJP government has come, it has become faceless. Faceless assessment, faceless appeals, everything is faceless. Who is doing all these things right now in our city? The Central Processing Center, Bangalore, CPC, Bangalore. They have paid 5,000 plus crores to Infosys to develop this. Infosys has developed website, income tax website, and the entire CPC, Infosys engineers are sitting with these fellows, Joint Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner, and sending notices. Everything is electronic. Reply also I should do electronically. What is the difference between a good CA and a great CA? Good CA knows the Income Tax Act. Great CA knows the Income Tax Officer. That used to be the dialogue before. Now you cannot, I have met greatest CAs of India I have met, who really used to play around with the ministry, with the officers. Now not anymore. Because of faceless appeals, faceless assessment, things have become, still people are making money in other ways, we'll see that later, but yes, faceless appeals and faceless assessment. Joint Commissioner, Deputy Commissioner, Assistant Commissioner, Income Tax Officer. That's it, guys. So just want to tell you this. And these are the other areas, your CCIT, all that we'll see later. So basically, today's class was only an introduction to how the Act came into force, then what are the sources of law, what is the structure of Income Tax Act, how it happened, and the last part of today would be in the Indian Constitution as such. In the Indian Constitution as such, what are some of the, okay, this will take up tomorrow because along with this, first we'll start with this and then we will go into how a section should be read and predominantly the basis of charge of section 4, how it goes, what is the notification, what is a circular, what are the binding powers, all those things, and then we'll go into the basics. No problem. This is just an introductory session. Yes, I hope you understood, guys. Right? So see you tomorrow, guys. See you. Bye. See you tomorrow.